Hey there everyone, and welcome to my 5 battle tips in Dragon Mania Legends. So, don't take this as the be-all and end-all. These are just some of my suggestions that I have, and since I'm level 56 I have a lot of experience with this game, so I hope that some of the stuff I tell you today can actually help you out. But my first tip, and one of the most important things to think about before you properly start, is to choose a well-rounded team. And so I have 3 dragons that have every single element apart from legendary, and so this means that I won't get stomped by one specific battle on the map. So an example of this might be how in heroic mode there is this battle here with 2 energy dragons that are level 31 and 30, and they have level 6 electric attacks. If I had dragons that were where all 3 were weak to electric, I would get absolutely demolished. So your best course of action is to choose 3 different dragons, and so maybe they'll only have a neutral or a not really effective typing against it. It's basically how games like Pokemon and other games like that have always worked out. And the second tip that I have that kind of goes in with making your team well-rounded is that you should be upgrading your dragon's levels and moves as soon as you can. So going to your farms, having as much food as you possibly can. If you're a higher level, I suggest not breeding, what the heck am I talking about? Putting in spring cherries, since it costs a lot of money, but it only takes an hour to actually grow them, and then you could go back the next hour, put in more, like yada yada yada, and like I got an absolute crap ton of food out of that. And since dragons take 54,000 food per quarter of a level now, it's really difficult to keep that up, so you're going to need to save up a lot of money to do that. And another thing is the Dragon Academy, where you upgrade all your dragon's abilities, costs an absolute crap ton as well. But I would focus on leveling up your dragon's moves as soon as you can. And like my healer, which is my clownfish dragon, I believe this was the second ability I upgraded only after the rock shield. Yeah, the stone shield is just insane. And I chose the ability the tombstone, which gives the shield an additional turn. And so you don't have to keep putting the shield on every single turn for your dragons, which means that you can put a double shield on 2 of them and a single shield on the other. And so that makes sure that your team just doesn't get insta-destroyed by high damaging dragons. And you should definitely be focusing the earth and water elements as your first level 6 upgrades, and you need to do that as quickly as you can. And then the next one is probably plant, since the upgrade to the plant element is, I believe the best one is pandemic. That was my favourite, at least, because it meant that the poison lasts a turn as long as the rock shield does, and so your enemy just keeps taking more and more damage, and it's just insane. So my third tip is that worrying about your team's formation is essential, because in fights I have it as my rock shielder first, followed by my main damage output, followed by another high damaging output, but I also make sure that the third member has the energy attack, which removes all of the enemy team's positive effects. So say during any of those turns their team decided to put up a rock shield to protect all of their allies, then I'd just use my Radiant Dragon's electric attack, and then it'd remove all of those effects. But it really is subjective how you want your team's formation to go, but having your rock shielder or your level 6 wind attack is in the first position is absolutely insane, because it makes it so that the enemies can't really do much to you, like at all, especially if you have Storms of Brewing, which reduces all opponents' base damage. It's up to you whether you want the rock shield or you want the Storms of Brewing, because you have to think, if the enemy has a level 6 electric attack, they can remove all of the positive effects on you. So technically, using the Storms of Brewing will help you a hell of a lot more because they can't remove that effect on themselves. So the fourth tip that I have is focus on getting the high scores and stars in the fights on the map. So for every single battle you'll get graded from 1 to 3 stars, and initially you might struggle to do some of the fights, and so you might only get 1 or 2 stars if you just barely manage to handle them. But there are tips for getting better scores in the fights, and so finishing the battles like as quickly as you can, so one-shotting dragons or two-shotting them, not just healing up and trying to stall out the fights. Just doing them as quickly as you can is what gets you the points. And so what you're going to want to do is trying to level up your Dragon Fury meter as fast as you can, because if you are dealing with a drawn out fight, you don't really have any choice if you're not doing any damage to the enemies, so Dragon Fury might be your only means of damaging them. So you have to make sure that you're getting perfect hits every time. So what I mean by that is every time you get the little bar where your dragons attack, getting it in the green area is one of the essential elements of this game, as any of you that have ever played it should probably know by now. But the main reason you want to be getting 3 stars is because every time you get a higher star count, so if you go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, you get more rewards for completing it, and these are in the form of gold and food. And so if you do a bunch of fights, whether you have VIP or not, if you do a bunch of fights, get 3 stars, you could be able to go back and level up your dragons a bunch of times on the early levels. And so you're just helping your team so much faster if you focus on getting those high score counts. And my final tip is similar to the last one, but it's make sure that every single battle is completed at full star count. And a priority would be to do the side missions, like the ones with the little swords on them that have the scrolls appear above them. Those are the ones that you're gonna want to be prioritizing. And the main reason for this is that doing all of them without moving on too far in the main quest line means that you don't get put up against the bosses quite as quickly, which usually tend to one-shot you if you're underleveled, and it makes sure that you do stay up to those levels, because doing all the missions means that you're not just rushing through it. It also, the main point about doing the side missions before you do the main ones is the fact that they tend to be easier, and they have the little scrolls that appear above them, which means that every time you complete them, you get a scroll reward. So what the scrolls do is they are the things that you need to allow your dragon's moves to be upgraded. So if you get to level 6, it'll take 15 scrolls for one dragon's ability to upgrade, and that's for the fire one on my tiger dragon. Like the electric one, that'll take 15 as well, and 4.2 million gold. So doing those side missions, you need the gold and you need the scrolls, and there's no other way that you can upgrade your dragon's abilities other than by doing those, and you'll find yourself running out of scrolls ridiculously quickly if you're upgrading your dragons. And so that's probably one of the best tips that I can give you in terms of your battle team. But anyway, those are some of the 5 biggest tips I can give. I'm sure there's more I could help you with, and things that I probably forgotten to mention as well. And like I said, these are just some of the things that I suggest / think are kind of important to helping newer players. And so if I said something that was wrong, correct me in the comments. If you have anything specific you want to ask me about, ask me in the comments. I'm happy to help anyone. But that should do it for this video. If you want any more tip videos, if you want anything that you're really struggling with to be explained, then go ahead. I really don't mind. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.